The average American has a 2.5-year shorter lifespan than the average European, even though we're supposed to have the best healthcare advancements in the world. You can make all the money you want in America, but is it worth it if you don't have the time or the lifespan to even enjoy it? The American lifestyle has really implemented in us that we have to work 24/7 till we're 65, now 70, 75, because things have gone up so much with inflation, and you don't get time to enjoy it. For me, the costs of living in America do not outweigh the benefits. Healthcare is the highest it's ever been and the biggest amount of debt for people. We have the highest education costs and debt for people. Food is on average more expensive for the average person, and millions of Americans and children are unable to afford groceries, even though we're supposed to be the best and the highest paid, one of the highest paid countries in the world. To me, this is just so shocking. And when you're really engulfed in it, and this is what you grow up on and you live on, you're just used to it. But I think this is why traveling is so good for people outside of the country, and why it should be encouraged more, is to really see that there are different ways of life. And if you are suffering in America because of all these things, you do have other options. One of the biggest things I have noticed with living in Spain for the past 2 years is how much work really kills our social culture and our social life, and how it is not emphasized at all. I do think this changed a lot with COVID in a negative aspect, because it just made everything more online and more accessible via apps for some people if you can afford it. But even previous to that, I noticed big differences being in Europe for 6 months or more at a time versus being here. I think a big part of it is we are told to work so much, and people are overworked and exhausted that they don't have the time or energy to even do social things. A lot of people who work 40-hour-a-week jobs can't afford to live, so they have to work multiple jobs. So then you don't have time to enjoy any social aspects of life. Another big part of it, if you do work a regular job, sometimes you can be so exhausted at the end of the day that you don't want to go out or do anything. And then you're too tired. I think this plays a big part on why that social aspect for Americans is seen as, oh, just go out on the weekends and that's good enough, when really that isn't. If you had watched any of the Blue Zones or people who live the longest and happiest lives, they are social and see people pretty much every single day. But American work culture has taught us that being social just at work is the best. America has one of the highest rates of businesses who want people back in person, even though we have the most AI advancements, which is online. So they're pretty much just telling us and other people that you should just go to work, be social there, and that's good enough. And that's really not. Most people crave social interaction and just talking and having simple conversations, whether it's just over food or at home or just through different interactions through your life. We are in so much of a hustle culture right now in America that you're looked down on if you only have one job. If you're like, oh yeah, I had this free time to go and do this, people will think you're lazy if you have free time, or if you want to sleep in on the weekends or take naps. There's a reason so many cultures have like siesta time and nap time throughout the day, because if you are just sitting at a job or if you are just working, we all need breaks, just a recovery, and then keep working throughout the rest of the day. But we are taught in American society that only having 2 days off per week is good. America only has 7 national federal holidays where people can be off of work. Not that everybody gets them, but we are just taught that this is so little. I believe Spain has 17 to 20 plus, all the other time off. But in America, we're taught you have to earn your time off. You have to earn your sick days. These aren't just guaranteed things that we are given in society. We also have the biggest turnaround and burnout rate compared to many other countries in the world with higher salaries. And I think this goes to show that not everyone is built to work 24/7. Another big aspect are the health costs and what it is doing to you and your body. A lot of people have now developed mental health issues related to stress, because then they're always thinking about work. They can't relax. They're not sleeping good, or because they're working so much, they're physically burning out their body. So when you're physically and mentally tired, this can lead to internal issues, whether it is not sleeping good and even hurting things that are internal in your body because of the stress it is causing, whether it's aches and pains or other, mental health issues that can become worse, and you just get to a breaking point, and then sadly it just kind of gets worse from there. And we are not seeing this as a good sign. We are told by all these big billionaires, 100 millionaires, to just work, work, work. And what are they doing? They're sitting at home. They're out on vacation once a month, while telling us regular Americans that we should only be taking one week vacation a year, and that's it. And that's good enough. And it's really not. A lot of us, we can work hard, and so many businesses and studies have showed that businesses who treat their employees well, they give them vacation, they give them health care, they give them time off, they actually can be more productive, have less turnaround, and have a lot happier employees. These are some of the biggest aspects I have really noticed in how American culture is really just killing us. You're supposed to have multiple jobs, do all these expensive things. And for what? What if something happens? Tomorrow isn't guaranteed, or some big health issues, and then you can't afford to enjoy your time off, or the healthcare costs, especially, then you can't afford it. And then you're in debt because you got sick by something that isn't in your control and just kind of happened. And it's kind of sad to see this. And then people are struggling socially. I mean, you've seen all the videos online of, we're at the loneliest point, especially younger people who grew up with the internet, and they've been ingrained even more in this culture. I do think Gen Z is getting better. They're trying to have more strict deadlines with work, saying you're only paying me 9 to 5. I'm not going to work until 10 p.m. I'm not going to get in early and do extra work. If you want me to work more, you have to pay me more. I have noticed this with a lot of friends too, and especially, in America now, people will get laid off and just give the work to others. But then those people that are left have to work more. They're not getting paid more. And then if they miss deadlines, they get in trouble, even though they've been asking for more help and they need it. But it's just all a profit center. That's a whole other video. Good. Everything is, just here for money. So it's kind of sad to see all that happen. But if you are getting burnt out and not liking your work or crave more social interaction, I would recommend, getting out of the US, whether it's, South America or Asia or Europe or wherever, and just kind of seeing how other cultures do it and looking up why people are so happy. Finland has been named the happiest country the past 5-7 years, whatever. And they, don't work as much, and they value time off. For maternity leave, they get a year. America is the only developed country in the entire world that does not have federally mandated maternity leave, which kind of makes sense considering the way women's healthcare is going. But other countries, it is a guarantee whether you work part-time at a coffee shop or you are a full-time doctor at a hospital. You are guaranteed a certain amount of maternity leave based on that country. And we don't have that in the US. It's seen as just a perk of working with a certain company. Same with health insurance. It's not federally mandated. You don't even get it if you work part-time. You have to work full-time, and it's still going to run you in debt if something happens. But these things aren't guaranteed, and it's just to kind of work us to death. They can get their money, get their taxes, make the rich richer, and kind of hurts. So this is another, big reason once you get out of the American bubble and look at other things and really enjoy social aspects, because humans are social people. And as I had mentioned previously, like the blue zones, those people, they have social interactions every single day. That is a huge part of living long, on top of, of course, being healthy with food and exercise and all those kind of things. And yes, we need jobs to work, but it shouldn't be what we're required to do, to just burn out, work to death, and then they'll just find some other worky to do it or AI or whatever the case may be in the future. So it's really important to kind of go out and live your life and, explore other options that aren't just America is telling us to do this, and these super rich people that control, 99%, the 1% are richer than the rest of us, what they think is right for working, because they're not working now. They might have in the past to build a business, but they're, you know, taking vacations every month and living on yachts and private jets. And, you know, that's just not realistic and what everyone else is doing. So, as you know, the Europeans say about Americans, you know, Americans live to work and everyone else works to live. I'll see you guys in my next one.